Hey, it's Andy and John with Car Repairs Made Easy, and today we're working on a 1996 Ford Explorer with a 4-liter engine. We're going to replace the water pump on this vehicle because it's leaking. We also notice we have a leak over here on the side of the radiator, which we'll assess as we get this apart. Well, the first thing you got to do this job is we're going to drain the radiator or the cooling system here at the petcock, which is right up here. This should just take like a quarter or half a turn if it's not messed up, and it don't want to come out. But this is where you would want to drain it. Let's see if we can get this thing to drain. It's plastic, so I really don't want to put pliers on it unless I have to. It doesn't want to come loose. So we have another alternative, and that will be to pull the lower radiator hose, which you'll see over here. I don't know if you could see it or not.
Yeah, I got it.
Alright, so I'm going to just get up here and grab a screwdriver real quick. This is another good alternative, except this way it makes a big mess because you're going to have coolant flowing this way out of the radiator and this way out of the hose. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do. So we just loosen the clamp. That's just a flat blade screwdriver, or you could use a 5/16 or 8mm socket. And then just hopefully you can catch it all. Not get covered too much with coolant. Like I said, seen how that poured out of there. That's why we don't like to do that, but you can do it if you have to. It works, and it's pretty quick too. So, or we're just going to leave our drain bucket here because we'll have a little more mess. We're going to go up top and start taking some things off so we can get to the cooling fan, and then the water pump. Okay, now that we've got our coolant drained, we're on the top here. Now we just need to get the access. So what we're going to do is we'll just pull this hose out of here. We have we're not even going to take that connector off. Take this connector off here. You just push down on it, squeeze it, and it comes off. We're going to take this ductwork off here. Just a little clamp there, and there's a clamp on this side.
By the way, this is a 4.0 V6 that we're working on. So I know somebody's got V8s, just so you know that your engine may be different.
Pull that loose, and then this will come off, and you see we have a lot more room. We can actually see what we're doing. The first thing we're going to do to protect our radiator from the fan when we take it loose is we're going to take these two 10mm off here from the fan shroud. We're going to lean that forward and slide some cardboard in there to protect the radiator. Alright, now we got our 10mm socket. Just take these loose for the shroud. And we'll take this one loose. As you can see, this moves a little bit, which is what we want. We can't take the shroud out because the fan blade's in the way. So we're just going to take a piece of cardboard, slide it between them in here. And if you look in here now, you can see the radiator's covered, pretty well protected. And I'm just going to stick one of these back in to hold it in place. So that's on, stays out of the way. Now we're going to grab our tools here. These are the tools you use for to take the fan clutch off. This one actually goes on the nut on the fan itself, as you can see there. And this one actually bites onto holds onto the bolts. We're going to use a 1/2 inch breaker bar, or you can use a 1/2 inch ratchet, whatever you have. This should fit in here like so. This is the wrong size, I think. Nope, that's right. I'm just going to put our breaker bar in here like this. It's a good idea to leave the belt on. Even though it seems like it's in the way, it helps keep things from turning, especially when you take the bolts loose for the water pump pulley. So we can hold that. Now this set, it has right hand threads, so if I push down on this, it should come loose. There you go. You see that broke loose? And then we'll just we can take this loose. Okay, there we go. This is why you want to leave the belt on so the pulley doesn't spin. You can see this comes off here. I'll try to catch it, but I'm sure it'll be tough, but you'll see why the cardboard's in there. See that? If you don't have the cardboard in there, you risk punching a hole in your radiator. So now that we have that loose, I'll take this 10mm back out. Then once this comes out, the shroud pulls up. You can see down there underneath that line, if you can get your good shot where it just hooks into the bottom of the radiator. And this is going to kind of come out in one piece.
There you go. Okay, now that we got the fan, clutch, and fan off and the shroud for the radiator, we're now going to remove the serpentine belt. I just dropped my tool. 1 second. 3/8 drive into the tensioner to get the belt off. A lot of them you need to pay attention to belt routing. Okay. This vehicle actually has a map on here on how the belt goes, so we're not going to pay too much attention to that. A lot of them have it here, some of them are on the airbox, and then some of them just don't have it, so you need to know where it is. Okay, now down here we got our lower radiator hose on the water pump, and we have a heater hose over on this side. So what I need to do is get those clamps off. This clamp's like a straight blade. And on this vehicle we're replacing the hoses as well. This one's getting a complete water pump, radiator, heater hoses, and an upper and lower radiator hose. Okay, so you just pull the hose off like that. This one's going to be garbage. Toss that over there. Even those to get the clamp off the other side. See if I can get it out of there a little bit. Get to it. Alright, there we go. Now I can pinch it. Doggone it, did it again. These spring clamps sometimes can be a pain. We're actually going to put worm clamps on when we put it back together. So now we're going to get down in here with a regular pair of pliers because my needle nose weren't working too well. Pinch that open. Almost off. Slide it off with the hose. You just want it down past where that's on the pump itself. Okay, now we got the clamp off. This is what we call a hose tool. They also call it a cotter pin tool, but it helps you get under the hose. Okay, you get the lip in there, twist it down. Try to pull it and go around. And all you're doing is you're cracking the hose around the steel because it likes to stick. If you were replacing this hose, you could also cut it to get it off, which we are, but I want to show you if you're going to reuse the hose, how to get that off of there. Oh, this one's not coming off. So I'll show you here, then you can get a screwdriver in there. Push her off like that, okay? Alright, I took the idler pulley off of right here just for visual so you could see. Here it's 115 millimeter. If you want to get it out of your way to do the water pump, you can. Another good rule of thumb is look at your new water pump, see where all the bolts are, and that way you'll know where their locations are to get them off. Okay, I'm using power, but you can use hand tools. These are 10 millimeter bolts. Just remember, even though you've taken off the lower radiator hose, when you pull this pump off, the block is going to drain. So you'll need to put a pan under there. Okay, we got all of them off around here. Now under here, looks like I got one over here. To the left. Can't see. There's some down on the bottom. You want to get those out. I know it looks kind of difficult. The reason I'm using a short socket is because I can't get my gun in there with a deep socket because of the radiator being in the way. Okay, there's looks like two more that are underneath.